Screen sharing. Okay. Can you see my Emacs?
Can you make the font one bigger? Okay, that's awesome.
Okay, so I just put up a very short, simple org file so that I don't forget what I would like to show you. So I entitled it a case study in Clark's third law, because really Emacs Calc is sometimes indistinguishable from magic for me. So for those of you who do not know Emacs Calc, it is an RPN-based arbitrary precision calculator. So let me show you just a few simple beginning things. So let me fire up Calc. It's down here. Maybe I'll try to enlarge the font here too. So assume that I want to add 3 plus 2. So what do I do in a stack-based or RPN-based calculator? I enter 3, I enter 2, I press plus, and I get 5. And so that's easy. But here are a few appetizers of what Calc can do. For instance, it can calculate using simple fractions. So you can do things like that. You can just divide 1 by 2. You got 0.5. But you can also enter 1 colon 2, which is a simple fraction. You can also use arbitrary precision, both in terms of decimal places and in terms of really big numbers. So let us calculate, say, 50 factorial. This is 50 factorial, exactly. Well, it's not the whole of it. In fact, I guess it was truncated a bit. But you get the point. There's also something called quick calc, which is calc again, but without all these windows. So you can close this. You can just press Control X, asterisk and Q instead of another asterisk, and just enter a computation. So say, let it be 2 times 3 plus 5, using normal arithmetic notation, no RPN here, and you get 16. That's it. Okay, so 3 examples of cool stuff you can do with Calc. One is connected with interactive calculations. I chose 3 of them, so-called languages, algebra, and vectors introducing. Let us fire up Calc again. What are languages? This 1/2 is so-called normal language, normal Calc notation. But you can press D and capital L to get the same in LaTeX notation, ready to paste into your LaTeX graphics. Or you can say D capital B and get something called a bit notation. It's not really best seen here. I will show you a better example in a moment. DN, capital N, normalization. Then you get algebra. So we can say, for example, we press the tick or apostrophe and enter algebraic expression. Say x minus 1 times x plus 2 squared over x minus, over. That's enough. Okay. I will not try to do to cover stuff, or maybe x minus 2. So we have an algebraic expression. We can of course express this in Latin notation, or this figure notation. It's better now, I think, or the normal notation. But we can also press AX to simplify it or multiply over terms. Now we got it expanded, or AF. Oh, it doesn't work, it's too complicated formula. But with a simpler formula, say x squared plus 2x plus 1, AF will factor it. Another thing is vectors introducing. We can enter a vector of numbers. We press the opening bracket, then say 2, 3, and 6, the closing bracket, and we get a vector. What happens now? We can press capital V, like vector, capital R, like reduce, and say plus. And now we reduce the plus function across the vector, so we just added all these things until vector reduce times. Now we multiply them, and so on and so forth. That's great. Very useful, in fact, from time to time. Okay, cool stuff number 2. Grabbing and yanking. This is really great. You can just enter a few numbers in a normal mode, say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, mark them, and press Ctrl X, asterisk, and G. And you end up with, in Calc with this very vector. It's especially useful, maybe especially useful with just one number. Then you get a vector of 1. You can press U to unpack this vector. So just get the number itself. On the other hand, if you have a result of some calculation in Calc, you can yank them back into your buffer. So you can just press Y as in yank, and this is yanked into a buffer. Or you can just get to your buffer and press Ctrl X, asterisk Y, and get the last Calc result pasted here. Really neat. And the last thing during this lightning talk I would like to show you is invoking Calc from ELISP. This I discovered not very long ago, and this is really great. I can show you my fast Calc function, which is really simple. What does it look like? I can write in my buffer something like this: 12 plus 3 times 3 minus 5 will work. I press Ctrl V and C, which is my own key binding for that, and then I got the result, 6. Is it correct? Well, of course it is. Even a more interesting thing. What do I use it for? I track my expenses using Ledger, another great tool which has a very nice Emacs mode. So I've got all my expenses, income and expenses in the text file. So it's very useful for me to be able to sum quite a few numbers or multiply them when I put my receipt into Ledger mode. And then I like to have my amounts with 2 decimal points and the currency symbol, which is PLN for Polish zlotys. So I press Ctrl U, Ctrl V, C, and I got already this. That's and just look at how easy it is to implement this. Ctrl Z, C. It's the fast Calc function. So this is basically it. So what does it look like? Well, it detects the formula by a very, very simplistic regex. I didn't want it to be anything more complicated. Just 2 or more characters, which are one of digits, decimal point, braces, and arithmetic operations. I do not need anything more fancy. If I needed something more complicated, I would just include something more complicated here. And then I just replaced the match with this invocation of Calc eval. So if there is the prefix argument, what I do? I basically give Calc eval a list of the format, number of decimal points, and things like that, and the string with the expression to calculate. And that's pretty much it. And that's all, since this is a lightning talk. No more stuff here. I just wanted to show you just a few cool tricks with Calc. In fact, Calc has a really outstanding manual. If you need to do any calculations on a computer, whether it be a simple addition like this or more complicated stuff, Calc has even some support for algebraic manipulation, as you could see. I really recommend learning about Calc and learning how to use it for algebraic manipulation, financial functions, statistical functions, and a lot more. Really great tool. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I had no idea Calc was so powerful. I thought it was just an RPM calculator.
Oh, man, no, it's got like variables and your algebra.
It's like MATLAB.
Yeah, it's got graphics, like called plotted basic 3-dimensional
Yeah.
Maximum yields.
Does anyone have questions over here? Yeah.
Maybe someone has a relevant question that you go first.
No, you can go.
What, in the corner of your Emacs GUI window, you have like sound and battery. Is that? Am I just
No,
seeing it wrong?
this is stuff from Ubuntu. It's not really Emacs.
Okay.
It's the
Oh, you have full screen.
Ubuntu Unity interface, so it's not really Emacs. I hate it, in fact, but I don't use my normal computer today. On my normal computer, I have no silly decorations. I have a tiny window manager, so I have only Emacs and nothing more.
Just checking.
So,
Yes.
yeah. So I also started using ledger mode for expense tracking and stuff. So do you have tips and tricks about ledger mode? One thing that I'm really looking for is scan my receipt and put it in that file as well, but it's not possible because it's plain text. So
Could you repeat your question? Something was wrong with the audio.
yeah. So can you share some tips and tricks with ledger mode? I just started using it and I find I really like it, but sometimes I feel the need to scan my receipts. So things like that.
In fact, I used something else to track my expenses a long time ago. I used a tool called Nucash, which is basically an accounting program with a nice GUI. It even saves its files in XML, so it's really impressive, modern and so on. But having discovered org mode and things like that, I decided to go with plain text. And then I discovered ledger mode, which I just love a lot. Ledger mode is not very easy to master because its manual is not the easiest one to comprehend. But in fact, I do not use any fancy stuff in ledger mode. I just use the very, very basic things. So the accounts, know things like virtual accounts and stuff like that. And I don't even have to remember all the parameters of the command line ledger because I have ledger mode in Emacs which fires up and generates the reports I need. So that's pretty much it. I don't really use any complicated stuff. I don't feel competent to give any tips on ledger itself.
Yeah, one thing I like is that you can create your own reports and store it in your ledger mode itself. So you just run that. Like you can make your own balance report or something like that. And it remembers the
yes, you can make
parameters
this
you
report,
pass.
but I have never mastered all these trickier parts of ledger. The only things I really use in ledger are, as I said, basic accounts, basic accounting, and then simple reports like balance, income, expenses of this month, last month, and that's pretty much it.
Yep.
Maybe I will look into some more advanced ledger stuff. I think Sacha posted something about ledger a few months ago, and I marked it as to read or to study or something like that. But maybe I'll come to it someday. Now I just use the simplest possible stuff.
Awesome.
Yeah. And Sasha on IRC says she likes having an org file with Babel blocks that run ledger commands, and that makes it easy to check like a bunch of different reports. And she can also use she says you can use org capture with ledger, where you can open the receipt, then org capture the note that has an automatic comment with the file name of the scanned receipt.
Awesome. So I can just
I
find
see.
it and then
I don't really need that complicated stuff. I do use org capture, but not for ledger. I use it for other things.
But yeah, other questions? Yeah, that was really cool. Thanks.
Thank you so much for listening. This link is expansion to my IRC channel for people to look at. It's really simple, but it shows that you can use Calc both interactively and from ELIST, which is really cool.
Yeah, thanks so much. Like, I had no idea Calc was so cool.
Well,
See ya. Yeah, so anyone else in the room have lightning talks?